So before you were mentioning Skullgirls, and we've actually just been going through that for review purposes, and it's been really interesting because you can really tell that it was developed by hardcore fighting game fans themselves. What seems to be the general consensus with everyone around you? Everyone digging it, or what's the story?
Well, the community here in Vancouver is that the Skullgirls is still the flavor of the month. People are still scoping out what the limits of that game is. They're seeing if the game is actually broken or really that skillful. People are still wondering whether or not it'll still get support after Evo. So it's all up in the air. They're transitioning between Skullgirls and the other fighters right now, but they're still keeping Marvel and Street Fighter as their main staple.
All right, well that makes sense. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we have a crowd in the background right now.
No, that's all good. It makes it entertaining. So why don't you talk a little bit about this new endeavor you were mentioning to me the other day? What's that all about, just to get people excited?
Oh, I am personally working on the Magus Works Productions Fundraiser project. It is support, my way of supporting the community here. So I'm trying to get sponsors from around the community to give items so that people who donate or contribute to the fundraiser can get these awesome prizes. And all the funds that come into the project go right back into the community, be it getting more setups for the players, more equipment for the streaming, and generally I hope that we can get enough funds to bring players out to more tournaments. So eventually player sponsorship is my end goal here.
Okay, that's very interesting, and I know people are going to probably want, so what I'll do is I'll put a link into this video so they know where to go. Do you have any rewards or anything? You know, people, they always want to know, well, what do I get?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the current rewards going for the donations. Right now it's a monthly contribution gift. So I'll pick out a special contributor out of the list of names, and they'll receive a really big prize. Right now, it's a Quamba joystick from Canadian Joysticks, but I'm also working on getting tiered specials. Like, for instance, this little guy. Hold on. These Canadian Joysticks pins. I don't know if you can capture that.
Yeah, that's good.
There. Yeah, these are limited editions. So I'm going to give these out to anyone who contributes like a certain tiered amount. Like right now, I've set it to 25 for this month. So if you contribute $25 to the fundraiser project, I'll send this little lovely pin to you.
Well, there you go, folks. You're listening to that, so support the man.
Yeah, and the more support I can get, the more items I can get from sponsors.
Yeah, so it's a win-win for everyone involved.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to wrap this up with a few more little things. We'll jump into just general industry stuff here. What do you think is going to happen in the next 5 years? Do you think Capcom is going to be able to continue this, this stride that they have, or what do you think is going to happen?
Oh, I am still wondering how they're going to handle the new console generation with the whole DLC content and whatnot. So it's quite up in the air in the next 5 years how well the fighting game is going to turn out.
Well, you just touched on something very interesting that was going to be one of my questions.
Okay.
What do you think of this whole DLC? I mean, there's been a lot of controversy lately with Capcom and that whole DLC on the disc and trying to sell it after and all that jazz. What does the community actually think of that sort of stuff? Are they up in arms, or they just don't really care? Or
it's general perception, really. It's up to Capcom whatever they want to do with that data. Like, I give them the benefit of the doubts, like trusting them that that the data on the disc is not complete, and they're actually sending out like actual completed data on the DLC. But others are more, I don't know, distrustful, I guess you can call it, saying that like if the data is already on the disc, why not just give it to everybody in the first place? We've already paid this much for it. Like, the idea of DLC is that you're paying for content that was developed after the release of the disc. At least that's the spirit of the concept. Yeah. So the definition of DLC has been warped, and changed over the years.
Yeah, no kidding. But with tournaments, they don't even allow the DLC characters, do they?
It depends on the organization. Generally, it's a no because it's a lot of money to get DLC on every single setup. I mean, if you have like 10 setups and you have to download DLCs for every single one of them, that's quite a bit of change.
Yeah. All right. So what's your guys' plan for Canadian Joysticks? You want to just keep it as is? You want to grow into a brick and mortar store, or what are your guys like? Let's say your goals for the next I don't know, 2 years, something like that.
Well, my goal for Canadian Joysticks is to build it so that it's a recognizable name in the community. So it'd be the place to get the arcade parts and video game accessories to recreate the arcade experience. I also want to have it so that it'd be a venue here for in the Vancouver scene, so that people can gather, practice, and run events. That's later down the line once we have enough investors interested enough to support us.
Well, I wish you guys the best of luck. And
Thank you.
You want to add anything else before we go?
Not much else. We do a lot of streams here in Vancouver, and we're supporting everybody else out in Canada. So watch out. There are the major Canadian tournaments coming up as well. The Montreal Mat 9 coming up in June, as well as the next Toronto event. Both of those are long-standing fighting game tournaments in Canada. Vancouver is a relatively young scene compared to them, and we're trying to catch up.
Well, if you're ever in town, give me a buzz.
I will.
Okay, well, thank you very much for taking part in the C.O.E. Spotlight, and I hope to stay in touch.
Thank you. We'll keep in contact.
Okay, take care.
You too.
Ciao.
Bye.